And the motherboard, like, it allows input and output devices to connect to the other computer components, keyboards and mice, printers and touchscreens. Remember, everything, you know, plugs in, gets connected into the motherboard in some way or other. So, this is an example of the motherboard. Also connected to the motherboards are ports like USB ports that allow you to connect any number of input, output, or input-output devices to the rest of the computer. So there's an example of the motherboard. You have slots here for your RAM, or maybe that's an example for RAM there actually, I'd say. There I'd say is, or maybe it's up here. There's your CPU, I think. Oh, I'm sorry. So there's your CPU. You've got different places here. This for a graphics card, and you've got all these connections in here, your ports for your different things, all connected and kind of interconnect with each other via the motherboard. So, here's the last thing we're doing today, the fetch execute cycle. Right? And this is massive. Absolutely massive. On the next slide there, I'm going to get you to take a picture of it in a moment. The next slide. So, listen to this, because I'm going to show you a video for the last 5 minutes of class. You'll be delighted to hear. And Tom Scott, a really good example of this. And we'll have a look at it in proper detail tomorrow. So, are we ready? The CPU operates by repeating 4 operations. So this is known in short as the fetch execute cycle. Fetch, number 1, causes the next instruction and any data involved to be fetched from main memory. Number 2, decode, decodes that instruction. Number 3, execute, carries out the instruction. Number 4, store, write the result to registers or RAM. There's a little diagram on the right, little overview of it, because unfortunately we have to go, not unfortunately, but we have to go into this in a little more detail. So, if you remember your fetch, decode, execute, I know a lot of people call it fetch execute, but there's a decode in there as well. So you're fetching the instruction, you're decoding it and the data that comes with it, and then you're executing that instruction or what you need to do, and then you go and store that result into registers or RAM. And so if we look here, here's the fella I want you to take a photo of in a moment. So we've got the fetch execute cycle there, and I might get you